Hey guys, I'm Ellie and I'm 14 years old. And in September of 2015, I got diagnosed with a rare childhood cancer called rhabdomyosarcoma. Totally changed my life upside down. But now I can use all them horrible experiences to share and help you guys. And so this is why I'm filming my first video, and I'm going to tell you about my cancer story. So basically, how I got diagnosed, just basically that, and I can't wait. So let's get right into the video. So the first sign I had that something was wrong was probably a year before I was diagnosed, so probably sometime in 2014, probably after the summer holidays in 2014, and I got these things called lymph nodes, which are little marbles that come up in their glands, and they show when something's wrong, and I just didn't really know what they were. I kind of don't even really remember them coming up. I just remember seeing them and I was like, were they there before? And so that was the first signs. If I went to the doctor then, I may have not even had to have chemotherapy. It could have just been cut out. So that's one of the things I regret not telling my parents about them. I just thought it was like an enlarged vein or something. I don't even know. And the second thing I had was in, I'd say about March of 2015, I got this little like lump in my left butt cheek, and I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought it was like a muscle or something, and so I kind of didn't really think anything of it. But by the summer holidays of 2015, it got so big. It nearly covered the whole of my bum cheek, and it was really uncomfortable to sit on as well. The third sign I had was I used to be really sporty. I used to do a lot of running, a lot of football or soccer, whatever, it depends which country you're from. And I just used to do a lot of sports, and my left thigh started just really hurting when I walked for a long time, or when I ran and stuff. It would just ache, like really ache. So I went to the doctors about that, and they said it was probably a deep tissue tear. So I rested it for 6 weeks, and after 6 weeks I went back to playing football and it started hurting again. So I thought, what the hell is that? Okay, and my cat's come to join us. No. And in about May of 2015, just a few months after having the lump, I started getting quite bad constipation. Like, it wasn't too bad at the start, but in the summer holidays, I spent most of the summer holidays constipated, and it was just horrendous. It just made me feel quite, not depressed, but quite sad. I was just wondering what the hell is wrong with me. So I decided to start eating all bran. I took laxatives, but nothing really worked, and that's when I started getting really worried. And I kept looking up on Google what I thought it could be, thought the lump could be, and something said hemorrhoids, but it was too big to be a hemorrhoid. But then the thing that I thought it was an a perineal abscess. I don't know how to pronounce it. And so that's why I went to my mum, and we went to the doctors. He checked it out. He thought it was an abscess too. He gave me, I think, about 10 days worth of antibiotics, and that just didn't work. It was getting bigger, and the antibiotics were giving me quite bad side effects. I was getting really bad tummy ache. I was feeling sick all the time. Yeah, it just wasn't. Really, cat? Really? So when the abscess just wasn't going, I went to the doctors again, and the next doctor prescribed me with a week's worth of antibiotics too. And so I think I survived about 5 days on them, and I had the first 2 days of school. The first day of school was absolutely horrendous. I was finding it so uncomfortable to sit down because obviously the chairs at school are really hard, and it was just so uncomfortable. I was feeling quite lethargic as well. And then on the Friday, we started on the Thursday, the next day of school, I brought a coat in so I could sit on that, so a bit more comfier, so that was okay. But on the weekend, I just couldn't sit anywhere. I was feeling lethargic, I wasn't feeling right at all. I had super bad constipation. I had it for probably about 2 weeks at this point, and I also was finding it really hard to wee as well, and I was just getting really worried. I was like, what the hell is happening to me? So it comes to the Monday, and I get dressed for school, even though I was feeling bad on the weekend. But I was one of them really nerdy kids who was really into their attendance and just did not want to miss a day of school at all, especially because it was the first year of GCSE year. But luckily my mum stopped me from going to school, and it was a bit of a miracle that she did, really, because if I left it any later then I could have got like kidney failure, because the tumour was wrapping around my kidney tubes, so that's why it was so hard to wee over the weekend. Anyways, so we go to the pharmacy and she gets me some more laxatives, but they just did not work at all. So then we went back to the doctor and we met an amazing doctor called Dr. Watson. She's the best doctor ever. She took one look at my lump and said, I'm going to send you straight up to the hospital. We're going to give you an abscess removal operation. And I started to cry because obviously I was a bit scared, but in a way I was kind of relieved because I just did not want to handle these side effects for much longer. So we went up to the hospital. I had my first blood test. I got weighed at the hospital and I was 48 kilograms, which they were really concerned about my weight because I've been losing a lot of weight also in the summer holidays. So I thought, why am I losing so much weight? What else did I get? And I just got a few other tests. Put me on like an IV fluids because I couldn't drink at all that day, and that was actually drink or eat at all. It was actually really hard. Like, eating thing wasn't too bad, but the drinking, it was horrible. My mouth was constantly dry. I was constantly asking for a drink, but they said you can't have it, you're about to have your operation. So it comes to 7 PM and I'm brought down to the operation theatre, and I wasn't actually nervous at all because I knew that it was just going to literally be put some anaesthetic stuff in my vein and I'll just be asleep. And I actually kind of liked it because it just makes you feel like a bit dizzy and then you just go like and then I got out of the operation theatre, and I didn't remember this, but apparently I was in quite a lot of pain with my wound, but that was all okay. I went up to my room, then the next day the surgeon comes to check on me, and for an abscess you have to pack it so it doesn't create pus again. So you put like these cotton wool balls in your wound, and without any painkillers, they whipped off the dressing, he whipped out the packing and put new ones in, and I'm not gonna lie, that is the worst pain I've ever felt. It hurt so bad that so the next day they gave me some morphine and gas and air. The gas and air was actually really nice. It made you kind of feel like you're on top of the world, and then when it wears off it just kind of comes down on you. Yeah, it made me feel good. Anyways, so this surgeon guy came in and he said to us, we opened up the abscess and it didn't look like a normal abscess. There was no pus, so just abnormal tissue, and I didn't really think anything of this. I just thought, oh, they'll be able to give me some tablets and it'll go down. And he went away, and then throughout that week I had just random little tests. Like I had 1,000,001 blood tests. I had a CT scan, and they didn't tell us why that was. Oh, and also they were telling us that I'd be able to go home on the Monday. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll be able to go home, everything's good. Then it comes to the Sunday, and basically my siblings and my friends were over, and my friend's mum, and one of the doctors called out my parents, or my mum at first, to come and talk with her, and she was taking a really long time. So my stepdad went to find her, and he was taking a really long time as well. So I just wondered, where the hell are they? But I don't really think anything of it. And so they came back in. They looked a bit like, they just didn't look normal. And oh god, this is like giving me butterflies thinking about this. Anyways, yeah, and my mum whispered something to my friend's mum's ear, and she looked like surprised. I thought, what the hell is she telling her? Anyway, so my siblings and my friends leave, and so basically I was laying on my bed, and my mum comes over to me saying, like, she starts like tearing up, and when I get a bit worried, like my heart starts racing, and she's like, you don't want to know, and I'm like trying to hold in the tears, and I scream at her, tell me, and then she says, they think that you've got cancer, and she starts crying, her stepdad starts crying, I start crying while screaming. I think the screaming just helped me stop thinking about it, and I just felt just so scared, like, am I gonna die kind of thing, because obviously cancer, that I had a great granddad that died of cancer, and it just scared the life out of me. Anyway, so I got off the bed and I ran immediately to the door because I just did not want to be in that room anymore. So my mum took me for a walk around the ward, and all the nurses and doctors were just looking at me like as if they knew the whole time, and that kind of made me not angry, but kind of like, you knew and I didn't kind of thing. When I came back into my room, I was still super upset, but I just really wanted to tell people. So I went onto my group chats and I told my 2 best friends, and I told like a group of friends that I have, and they were all obviously supportive, and I just told my mum, tell my dad, tell my nan, tell my aunties, tell everyone, because quite a lot of people just want to keep it in, but I just wanted the support. I wanted them to know, wanted them to come visit me. Yeah, and then the nurse tells me, you're gonna be going to Nottingham tomorrow in the ambulance, and that really scared me because I'd never been to Nottingham before. I knew it was really far away from my home. I'm gonna be there for the foreseeable, just so far away from my house. That really scared me, and I kind of settled down a bit, kind of just dealt with the fact, you know. And that night I couldn't sleep at all. In the morning they woke us up about 6 AM and they gave me my cereal and my tablets, and I threw them both up because I was just so nervous. So the ambulance, at about 7ish, the ambulance guys came and they put me on like this black stretcher thing, and then they wheeled me to the ambulance, and that was my first ever ambulance ride. And we basically mostly had the sirens on all the way there. So we arrived at the Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham, and I just remember them taking me all the way through all the corridors, and I remembered how long it was. I was thinking, how the hell am I going to find my way around this place? So we went up a few lifts, and first thing I saw was Teenage Cancer Trust, and that kind of scared me because I thought, oh my goodness, this is like for real, a cancer ward. I'm on a cancer ward, and the first person I see on the cancer ward is one of my pretty good friends now, called Heather, and I just see a girl with a bald head lying, like sleeping on the bed, but I thought she was like knocked out from the chemo or something, so that really scared me. But then a few minutes later she woke up and she seemed fine. She was eating her Wheatos or whatever she had. So yeah, it was really, I was really nervous and kind of grumpy when I was there because they put me in the bay and I really wanted my own room, so I was kind of annoyed because I don't really like, especially at a time like that, I just did not want to be around people. Just wanted to be me and mum by myself. Shortly after I got into the ward, loads of, like, a swarm of doctors comes and see me, and the last thing I wanted to see at this point was doctors. So they basically just swarmed all around me. My consultant Sophie did as well, and they basically just talked me through what was going to happen this week, what tests I was going to have, what, I can't remember what else they said. There's something, yeah, I can't remember what else, but yeah, because I didn't really listen too much because I was just too busy being grumpy. I just didn't want to listen to them, quite upset. I just didn't want to be there. I just wanted to be back home and normal again, like, yeah. So yeah, so I was quite grumpy. But then after they left, the girl Heather was doing schoolwork and stuff. I was like, she's ill, and if she's ill and she can do schoolwork, I can do schoolwork. So I did some schoolwork. What was it? And I just kind of settled in. I watched some TV. Oh, am I feeling bad? So between the Tuesday and the Thursday, I had quite a few tests. I don't know the exact order, but I'm going to go with what I think. So on the Tuesday, I'm pretty sure I had an MRI scan, and that was my first MRI scan. That was actually quite nice because I was quite out of it at that time, quite poorly, so it was quite relaxing. Don't even ask, a bit weird, but I found it quite relaxing. I think I may have also had a kidney function test that day, and then I had on the Wednesday, I think I had a bone scan, and I think I may have had my port fitted that day. I'm not sure, it's all a bit of a blur. I may have had my port fitted on Tuesday, I've no clue. I can't remember, it seems so long ago. So one of the days I had a bone scan, then I had an operation for my port and a biopsy, and I think that was it. Then the Friday comes and my consultant takes aside my parents, and that made me quite nervous and scared because last time a doctor took away my parents, that really bad news, so I didn't want it to be even worse news. But they came back and basically said that I had Alveolar Rhabdomyosarcoma. They never told me what stage. I'll have to ask that for you guys. And they basically said they was going to start me on chemotherapy that day, and also that it was in the top of my left thigh, which explains the leg aching. It was in all of my bone marrow, it was in my lymph nodes, explains why the lymph nodes were up, it was in all of my pelvic area, which explains why I was getting constipation and why my kidney tubes were getting pinched, so I started having trouble weeing, and it was in the whole of my left bum cheek, which explains why I got the lump. Yeah, so I had it in quite a few places, but they were pretty certain that they'd be able to treat it, which was really reassuring. So they started me off in chemo that day. Actually, I need to stop here. I'm going to save what my first chemotherapy was like for another video. So that's basically it, guys. So if you have any questions to ask me, put them in the comments below and I will answer them. And I also have all my social medias in the description box. And what else do I have? And I also have my blog in the description box, which is a bit like my... One week I'll be doing my blog post, one week I'll be doing a YouTube video, and I already have quite a few posts on my blog already, so if you want to check them out, you can. And I just want to say thank you for watching, and best of luck if you have cancer too, or if you have a loved one with cancer, or you're just on here just to see what it's like. So thanks guys, bye.